So we want to sincerely apologize for the late start of the forum. Let me join the chairman to welcome all of you to this great hall. Special welcome to the International Labour Organization Rep, Sister Vanessa, the Inspector General of Police and his team, the representatives from Electoral Commission, and the representatives from Peace Council. We thank Frederick Ebert Foundation for supporting us financially to organize this forum. We thank Ghana National Association of Teachers for giving us this great hall. Comrades, as you know, May Day is just around the corner. Next week, Wednesday, is a special day for us. And traditionally, before that day, we meet like this to discuss the theme for the celebration. And that is why we are here this morning. We want peace in our country. Economically, we are not doing that good. We are really struggling. But at least we have peace. So we selected this theme to highlight the need for every Ghanaian to do something in their power to ensure that we have peace before, during, and after the elections. We have seen what has happened in the sub-region, and we don't want to follow that path. That is why this morning we are very happy to have first the Inspector General of Police and his team with us. We also have the Electoral Commission, and we have the National Peace Council. These three institutions are extremely important to ensure that we have peace after the elections. In fact, before, during, and after the elections. And so, without wasting too much time, let me say once again, you are welcome. We have already spent so much time with you, and we need to start to hear the program. So I'll take my seat, and then we are expecting the IGP, the Peace Council, and the Electoral Commission to discuss with us what they are doing to ensure that we have peace before, during, and after the elections. Once again, I welcome all of you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, SG. As I've already indicated, when it comes to organized labor, it is not only those in the formal sector. We also have UNIWA. UNIWA is the union of all those in the informal sector, market women, artisans. They are also here with us. So UNIWA, where are you? Very good. You are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you very much. At this point, let me invite our brother from FES, Mr. Bomesa, to share some few thoughts with us. Thank you.
Joboy. Good morning, comrades. Good morning, everyone here. Permit me to stand on the protocols duly established by Dr. Yao-Bah. First of all, I bring you greetings from the FES, or the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, which is the German Foundation for Social Democracy. For us, we see this activity as one of the roles played by unions in ensuring that we have a stable and democratic country. The role of trade unions in Ghana's democratic processes over the years has been quite remarkable from the days of independence right to the Fourth Republic, that's 1992. So for us, we see today's activity as one of these activities geared towards ensuring peace in the country. As a partner to this event, I would also want to join the Secretary General in welcoming all of you to this very all-important activity. And then also to thank the speakers from the Ghana Police Service, the Peace Council, and Electoral Commission for making time to join us for this activity. It is our hope that we have fruitful discussions, and through this activity, we continue to build power from below. On this note, thank you very much, and we wish all of us fruitful deliberations.
Thank you too. Thank you too. As you can see, the program is going on smoothly. So those who will be entering, please get yourself seated. We don't want anyone to be standing. At this point, I will invite my sister and our own sister, Mrs. Vanessa Fala, to share her thoughts with us.
Thank you so much, Madam. Is it still good morning, brothers and sisters? Allow me to please also stand on the already established protocol. I hope I'm audible, right? It's not. Oh, yes. Or maybe I need to bring it a little bit closer. So I was saying, allow me please to adopt the already established protocol. It gives me great pleasure for the International Labour Organization to be part of this very important forum. As we know, the 1st of May, we commemorate Workers' Day globally as a day that is actually meant to celebrate and to recognize the achievements and the struggles of our workers all around the world. So indeed, this is a very important day for us. And I also recognize the theme for this particular forum and recognizing the upcoming elections and making sure that the trade union contributes towards peace, growth, and development in Ghana. Let me also indicate that the particular theme also resonates for several reasons. Firstly, it actually recognizes the role of trade unions to move from looking entirely or solely on issues of wages and conditions of services, but to now go into issues of development, go into issues of peace, which are very important and also impact on productivity. Secondly, it also recognizes the sound appreciation by the trade union of the nexus between peace, development, and democracy. And of course, they exist together in a harmonious way. Lastly, also the theme resonates with the Sustainable Development Goal 16, which is about promoting a peaceful and inclusive society for sustainable development. And finally, also it echoes trade union understanding of the fact that there is no social justice without peace, and that the struggle for decent work is only possible in a peaceful and democratic society. As the ILO Constitution says, universal and lasting peace can be established only if it is based upon social justice. So this is very important, and I want to commend Ghana TUC and its members for this important forum, and I do look forward to the various presentations and the deliberations that will follow afterwards. So thank you so much once again for inviting the International Labour Organization. As usual, that Ghana TUC is one of our social partners here in Ghana, and we are working together in a number of targeted interventions here in Ghana. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever. Let's sing together. solid. For the union makes us strong. Choboy! Electoral Commission, are you there? We want to hear from you. Because this election, we want BBR fine. So at this point, we invite Mr. Samuel Tete, the Deputy Chairperson in charge of operations, to speak to the workers of this country. Let's give him a big round of applause as he comes. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. And good morning to you all. And standing on all existing protocols, I wish to bring you warm greetings for the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Jean Mensah, and the entire Electoral Commission staff. And we wish to state that we are very grateful for this opportunity and giving us the opportunity to discuss the role of the Electoral Commission in securing peaceful elections. And more importantly, this year is an election year, and all that all of us are craving for is to have a very successful and peaceful elections. Elections, as we all know, is a necessary condition in a democracy, and it is one of the key instruments for facilitating good governance practices and a mechanism by which people are able to exercise their political, civil, and human rights in decision making, such as choosing their leaders or expressing their opinions in a decision that is directly affecting their lives. And holding of periodic election is therefore critical in any democratic process because it enables the citizens to decide who they want to manage the affairs of their country. Election also represents a critical test of social cohesion, and if badly managed, could easily tear apart the fabric of society and, for that matter, our dear country. Therefore, in securing peaceful elections, the Electoral Commission has been established by law to oversee the conduct of periodic elections in Ghana, to allow citizens to freely elect who they want to lead them. And the Constitution also establishes the authority of the Commission as an independent body to oversee the conduct of elections, to select the people to rule the nation over a period of time. With the role of the EC in securing peaceful elections, the EC plays a significant role in peace processes since they are widely considered to be the main institution and, for that matter, employing methods of achieving a peaceful resolution to political controversies. The process can contribute to peace, but it can also provide entry points for violence and conflict if the process is not properly managed. And the Electoral Commission has a responsibility to protect Ghana's democracy through the implementation of its constitutionally mandated duties by following certain principles of election administration to ensure peace in the country. The first thing that we can talk about is compliance with the law as a way of ensuring or securing peaceful elections. The legal framework covering the institutions, procedures, and processes of the election must be very sound. And to hold legitimate elections, the Electoral Commission must comply with the laws of the country and demonstrate that it respects the laws. Elections must be held in compliance with national laws that usually create immutable time frames. An election is a success when participants in the political process see it as a legitimate procedure and binding. If participants contest the results of an election, the public will follow suit. The Electoral Commission must ensure that within the legal framework of the country, elections law are fully applied. And that is what the EC has always been doing. All the activities of EC is regulated by laws. And we cannot actually go besides what the law provides. Again, the EC is mandated as part of ensuring a peaceful election, provide for an update of registration of all people who are eligible to register to vote. And for that matter, we have to make sure that all those who are qualified to vote must have their names on the voters register. So voter registration is often the most complex and expensive component of the electoral process, and it involves identifying which citizens are eligible to vote and producing a list of register of voters for use on polling day. It is often a contested process, and if flawed, may compromise the entire elections. So the voters register plays an important role in securing a very successful elections. And for this year's update of the voters register, the Commission has set from the 7th of May to 27th of May to update the voters register to include those who have attained the age of 18 since the last registration, and those who for one or two reasons were not able to register during the last registration exercise. And we all know, it is believed that a clean voters register is the backbone of a credible, free, and fair and transparent elections. What the Commission has done is that it has publicized its registration methods. It has had meetings with the political parties, and we are going to have registration at all the 268 district offices. And as we earlier said, during our interactions with the general citizens, some difficult to access electoral areas and 25 public universities where we think the population is very huge. This movement plans for all the three methods have actually been posted on the Commission's website. It's been given to the political parties, and each and everyone who is qualified to register will know the time and then the place where he or she is to go and register. So it is therefore the duty of the Electoral Commission to prepare a comprehensive voters register devoid of foreigners and minors and other unqualified persons for a smooth election process. The caution, or what we as an EMB is pleading is for all of us to educate all applicants who are not yet 18 not to go and register, and also if you are a foreigner, you also desist from going to the centers to register. There is another important process after the registration, and that is the exhibition of the voters register. The exhibition of the provisional voters register, which is the next stage of producing the finest voters register, is to display the provisional voters register for public inspection at the exhibition centers for a period that may be determined by the commission. And this has also been provided in the program of activities or the calendar that we have actually posted on our website and given to the political parties. And during the exhibition period, people will be given the opportunity to put in claims for corrections, inclusions, as well as objection to unqualified or diseased names in the register. All these things are done to ensure that a more credible and acceptable register will be produced for the election. And as the law requires, a copy of the final register is given to the political parties in the form that the commission deems fit. The next process is the nomination of candidates. The nomination of candidates is the formal procedure by which political parties and/or individuals put candidates forward for election, and the commission's acceptance of that nomination. The nomination procedure and candidacy requirements are also regulated by legal framework in Ghana, and the Electoral Commission is bound to follow. For instance, a person filing nomination to be president must be 40 years and above, and filing for nomination to be a member of parliament must be 21 years and above. And candidates are also required to make statutory declaration affirming fulfillment of the legal requirements. And again, nomination forms are verified to ascertain whether requirements have been fully satisfied or not. Any false statement on the form will lead to the disqualification of the candidate. So the Electoral Commission has a duty at the close of the nomination to post notices of nominations specifying the names of the candidates nominated and the persons who have proposed and supported each candidate at the constituency center for public scrutiny. And this is an opportunity for citizens to scrutinize the notice of nomination and then find out whether those people are qualified to stand or not. Another important aspect which the commission deems very important to follow is the printing of notice of poll and ballot papers. So placement of candidates on a ballot paper come after the nomination of candidates. There are 2 rounds of balloting, as we all know, for position on the ballot paper. Balloting for the picking order and balloting for the placement of the ballot paper. So after balloting to get position for candidates, the printing of notice of poll and ballot papers commence. And what the EC has been doing over the years to ensure fairness, transparency, and accountability, political party representatives, the police service, and the National Intelligence Bureau observe the printing packaging and deployment of notice of poll and ballot papers at the printing houses to all the regions. The commission does all these to ensure that there is peace at all the stages of the electoral process. And this is going to be the same for the 2024 general elections. On the election day activities, this comprises vote counting of ballots and declaration of results, collation, and declaration of a winner for parliamentary elections and that of the presidential. And in order to ensure fairness, transparency, and credibility of the pool, the commission allows candidates, agents, security personnel, accredited observers, and the media personnel to observe the process. And this is going to be the same. It is not going to change. Voting and counting is also done in the open for all to observe. And in order to prevent impersonation and ensure that only persons on the voters' roll in each polling station are allowed to cast their ballots, voters will be verified or identified by their biometric details in the voters' register by the use of biometric verification devices. And it is the same as what we have been doing over the years. All voters will be verified before they vote. And after the close of the poll, in the presence of the candidates or their representatives, counting agents, observers, media, security personnel, the general public, the presiding officer usually and normally opens the ballot box and takes out all the ballot papers in the box, sorts out the ballot papers and proceed to count ballots at the polling station, record the total number of votes cast in favor of each candidate, and also record the total number of rejected ballots. So the process for the counting, collation, and declaration of results is also going to be the same. It will not change. And candidate agents are made to authenticate the results by signing. And it should also be noted that an agent refusing to sign does not invalidate the results. This is an open process of the commission to ensure acceptability of election results at all levels and prevent any election-related violence. As part of an effective process to ensure peaceful elections, the commission recruits and trains temporary officials. The permanent staff of the commission cannot actually do the work, and for that matter, we recruit temporary officials. And as you will recall, the commission advertised for interested persons who are ready to work with the commission as registration, exhibition, and election officials. So the smooth and efficient conduct of every electoral process requires an adequate, honest, competent, and well-trained staff of both permanent and temporary staff. So nothing brings a process into disarray quicker than having a poorly prepared staff. So to be able to organize a peaceful, successful, credible, and free and fair elections, the commission is assuring the general public of employing carefully screen temporary officials to assist in the execution of the task. The recruitment process we have actually completed. A team of panel members headed by commissioners and head office directors went to the regions to select the best of the temporary officials who applied to work with the Electoral Commission. We also have a program of training for all those selected so that we can have a very competent and knowledgeable temporary officials to work with to execute the election in such a way that nothing will actually go wrong, because if you have a well-trained temporary and then permanent staff, you are likely to get the best results. One other aspect which we also have to look at as part of the Commission's efforts to ensure a peaceful election this year is with respect to neutrality. The Electoral Commission, which is the sole institution responsible for the administration of an election, must fulfill its mandate impartially. It must avoid perceptions of favoring a particular political competitor. Thus, the Electoral Commission shall ensure that within the legal framework of the country, election laws are fully applied impartially and fairly. And it is also important that each party, candidate, voter, or any other participant is treated equally and fairly. And that has been the cardinal principle of the Commission, to treat all candidates and parties equally. Another issue is with respect to professionalism, and the Electoral Commission must also exhibit in essence professionalism in the discharge of its constitutionally mandated duties. Professionalism is largely related to the fact of considering the election administration as a vocation, and staff of the Commission should be adequately trained and motivated. So election officials must commit to activities of the electoral process with care and respect, and there should be continuous strengthening of staff motivation to work effectively. So the EC must ensure that electoral processes are conducted in accordance with the principles of human rights, in accordance with the norms and standards of human rights. Behaving professionally will go a long way to help the EC ensure a successful or peaceful elections. Another aspect deals with transparency, and it is important that the EC and its officials display openness and uniformity in their activities and dealings with all political parties, candidates, and voters, and any other stakeholder to ensure peaceful elections. And we can actually say on authority that the EC has been transparent in all its activities and will continue to do so, from registration to exhibition to nominations and election activities. You find out that political party or candidates' agents are represented in all these aspects, all these processes. We have representation, and the activities of the Commission is also made known to the citizens. Without a doubt, transparency is crucial in election administration and must permeate the entire electoral process, and that is exactly what the commission does and is doing. We also believe that impartiality is very, very important so far as securing peaceful elections is concerned. The Electoral Commission has always treated all participants fairly in an election, and this is without giving an advantage to any person with some political ideology or interest groups. The members of the commission and its staff carry out their duties in a politically neutral and impartial manner. And this is essential to the credibility of the electoral management of the country and therefore the acceptability of the election results. And over the years, one important thing that the Electoral Commission has always been doing and is high on the agenda towards securing a peaceful 2024 elections is the level playing field that would be given to all political parties and candidates. And the concept of a level playing field translates into equal opportunity for the political parties and candidates competing in the election. So it is our responsibility to apply the laws, the processes, and procedures of the elections fairly and firmly without fear or favor, and to any party or candidate. The elections must be conducted in a transparent manner so that every candidate has a fair chance of winning. And this has been the practice all over the years, and it's not going to be different this year. With respect to integrity, the Electoral Commission is the fundamental guarantee for the integrity and parity of the electoral process, and members have direct responsibility for this mandate to ensure that the conduct of the 2024 elections becomes a successful one. So the EC as an EMB must not hesitate to take actions against election officials who are corrupt or threaten electoral integrity by promoting certain political interests. Elections must stand the test of time. And that is the more reason why temporary officials who are hired to take part in our electoral activities are punished. Some of them have actually been blacklisted. We don't engage them, and we hope that in the near future we will take the necessary steps to prosecute those people who shows something like being partial to political parties or other interests. Another aspect is efficiency, and governments and the public also expect the funds and other resources for elections to be used wisely, and that services are effective. So again, the Electoral Commission as an EMB must ensure that their programs are sustained, and it is good for the EC to demonstrate integrity, competence, and efficiency. These qualities help to foster the confidence of the political parties and the general public in the electoral process. We believe that we have to protect the public purse, and in all our procurement activities, the EC has been very fair and then competent enough to make sure that we are on the right path. The next issue to look at is accountability, and confidence in the integrity of the electoral process requires an electoral commission that is responsible for each stage of the electoral process. So the EC should be responsible at all times before the law and the citizenry. Accountability is vital because political parties, candidates, ordinary voters, the media and other stakeholders are expected to have reasonable assurance that the EC and the entire electoral process obey the rules. The EC should explain and justify that procedures are put in place to prevent electoral fraud. One other aspect which is also high on the agenda of the EC this year is stakeholder engagement. For peaceful elections in the country, the Electoral Commission always has to engage with its major stakeholders, such as the political parties, the civil society organization, development partners, and traditional authorities whenever they want to undertake any electoral activity. Such engagements afford the Commission the opportunity to inform stakeholders of planned activities and provide information and clarification on issues. So this ensures transparency in the discharge of its activities. And the EC has been doing this through the IPAC, the RIPAC, and the DIPAC at the national, the regional, and the district levels. And at times we have civil society organizations and some development partners observing the proceedings at IPAC, RIPAC, and then the DIPAC. The essence of the stakeholder engagement is to interact with the various categories of people to come out with their specific issues and find means to address them to allow full participation throughout all the electoral processes. And this is because elections are said to be free, fair, and transparent when all eligible persons fully participate according to the laws governing the elections. Publicity and voter education is also very, very important, and the Commission is undertaking this activity vigorously so that we can have a successful general elections this year. Voter education forms an important aspect of the electoral process, and it is necessary for all stages of the electoral process. So it is central to free and fair elections. The degree of error on polling day depends on the amount of work undertaken in respect of voter education before polling day. So the Electoral Commission would be engaging frequently with its stakeholders on the electoral process, and the Commission would ensure that the communication of its programs and activities in the media, the radio and TV stations, the press statements, face-to-face interactions, posters, flyers, and workshops are all effectively carried out. Effective communication enhances success. It enhances understanding, trust, respect, teamwork, decision-making, and problem-solving. So getting voters, political parties, and the media to understand and comply with the electoral process requires clear, constant, and accurate communication. Public education programs would be the highlights, and the expected roles of all stakeholders in ensuring peaceful demonstrations will also be pursued vigorously. The principal goal underlying the EC's voter education should ensure that voters comprehend their voting rights and become successfully knowledgeable to make informed choices and promote mass participation and high turnout in electoral activities. This imparts knowledge on how to participate in electoral processes, build trust and confidence in the electoral process and the Electoral Commission, and finally, promote good attitude and behavior that will make elections peaceful and genuine. In conclusion, it can be said that the Electoral Commission has a bigger responsibility in safeguarding the democracy of the country by conducting credible, free, fair, and transparent elections. This, however, is not the responsibility of the Electoral Commission alone. Promoting peace and stability is a collective responsibility of all players in the democratic process and activities. It is the responsibility of political parties, candidates, civil society organizations, the security forces, and all other stakeholders, as well as the general public, to come on board to protect the democracy of our dear country. And on this note, we wish to promise the people of Ghana that the EC is well prepared to conduct a credible, free, fair, and a very, very successful elections come 7th December 2024. Thank you for your attention.
Please, he deserves a better round of applause. He has taken his time to take us through all that they do at the Electoral Commission, registering voters, exhibition of register, and so on and so forth. Sir, we are so grateful for coming, taking time to take us through all that we do. Comrades, we are going to have panel discussions after the presentation, so please, let's take notes, and then when we have time for questioning, you can ask your questions. Please, let's take notes. It's very, very important. We are here to learn what is expected of us as workers. Let me also recognize the presence of Medical Lab and Physician Workers Union. Medical Lab and Physician Workers Union. Please, are you here? Please stand up and let's acknowledge you. Let's clap for them. Thank you so much for coming. I think the unions here, in total, we are about 30 unions. And this one is under the umbrella of organized labor together with TUC. When we say organized labor, all the labor unions in the country, we form organized labor. At this point, we would want to hear from the Peace Council. 2024, we know elections is going to be peaceful. But assuming there is any misunderstanding, what is the role of the Peace Council? So let's welcome to the podium our gentleman from the Peace Council in the person of Mr. George Amu. He is the Executive Secretary of the Peace Council. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. I hope I am permitted to join the chorus to say Choboi. Choboi. And let me ask the permission of the chair to stand in the protocol already established. The chairman of the Peace Council should have been the speaker for this morning, but something just came up and he had to ask me to stand in for him. So the words that I say here are for Reverend Dr. Ernest Edujemfi, the chairman of the National Peace Council. So on behalf of the National Peace Council Board, I express sincere thanks to the Trades Union Congress for giving us the opportunity to share in this year's May Day, a day dedicated to honoring the hard work, dedication, and contributions of workers of our country. It is worthy of note that in the midst of your celebration, you have recognized the crucial role each of us have to play in securing the peace, stability, and development of our country, Ghana. And I'm happy to speak on the team you've given us the role of the National Peace Council in securing peaceful elections. Madam Chair, the National Peace Council was established by an Act of Parliament in 2011, Act 818. And the mandate, clearly stated in Section 2, is to facilitate and develop mechanisms to do about three things: mechanisms to prevent conflict, mechanisms to manage conflicts, and mechanisms to resolve conflicts. The end product, as the mandate tells us, is to ensure sustainable peace in the country. In other words, the Peace Council has been instituted to provide the platforms for mediation, for negotiation, for dialogues, to ensure we keep our country in peace. So how are we doing this to ensure we have peace before, during, and after the December elections? Indeed, after the 2020 elections, the National Peace Council organized a dialogue, a national dialogue. We termed it a dialogue to heal. And it was for 4 days in Akwasafari at Adan. And at that place, almost all the key players you can think of in our electoral process were there. Indeed, the Minister for National Security was present, the Minister for Interior was present, the Electoral Commission was present, the current Chief Justice was present, the majority leaders were present, civil society were present. What we did was to come up with the lessons learned in the 2020 elections. What went wrong? What went well? What can we do better as we go into subsequent elections? And the Peace Council was given some roles to play to ensure that subsequent elections are done better than we experienced in 2020. So 1, the Council was charged to strengthen election governance, transparency, and credibility through partnership. We were also charged to ensure we promote national cohesion, peaceful coexistence, and greater political tolerance. We were asked to recognize the supremacy of the national interest and impress this on our political party actors. The National Peace Council was also asked to facilitate the return of the National Democratic Congress to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. We were also charged to facilitate a mechanism for collaborative partnership amongst the political parties. The next, we also charged to ensure that we work together with the judiciary to reduce the time frame for adjudicating parliamentary election disputes. Madam Chair, since after Ada, the Peace Council has worked tirelessly, mostly behind the scenes, and we are happy that the National Democratic Congress heeded to our call after a number of consultations behind the scenes, meeting almost all the stratas of the political structure. On December 14th, 2023, at Peduase, the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress declared their intention to return to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. And as I speak to you, Mr. Tete is here, since then, the NDC has participated in the IPAC process. And not only participating, but also making very, very important, significant contributions to the IPAC platform. We are happy about this. We can also report that we have started the processes of reducing the time frame for adjudicating parliamentary election disputes. On 3rd April this month, the chairman and the Chief Justice caused a conference to be held at Fiesta Royal Hotel, where we brought together all major actors we can think of in our political space to think of how do we proceed to reduce the length of time in adjudicating election disputes. And we've come up with proposals that we believe would help in this process. Madam Chair, what is it that we are doing? We are doing a lot to ensure. We have set up a political party platform that brings all the functional executive of the political parties once in a quarter. We started that last year, and I can report that we've met them on 4 occasions. It was one of them that the NDC decided to come back to IPAC. And it is working very well. And we believe that it is also adding to the contributions of other institutions, like the police, in ensuring that we secure for ourselves peace in all elections. I believe strongly, and I know IGP would attest to that the election, the by-election that you've had, that probably have been the most peaceful in the Fourth Republic, did not just come from the blue. It came because actors in the field have contributed their best in ensuring that we reduce the incidence for violence. We have also provided platforms to train our political actors. Indeed, just last month, we're in Pram Pram, giving training to our political parties so that we can have internal peace in the political parties of our country. If we have that, spilling over violence, to yourself and to myself will be reduced considerably. Madam Chair, we have also developed what we have termed guidelines against intemperate, indecent language. We did that together with the National Media Commission, the Ghana Journalists Association, the Media Foundation for West Africa. And this, we believe, would help sanitize our media and public spaces where we discuss matters that affect our elections. Already we've shared copies. In fact, we shared a number of them. And I think we brought some too. We can leave with our brother, Dr. Yao Ba. So we have copies here, and we will share. Madam Chair, I want to inform you that after the 2020 elections, we experienced some violence in some areas. And I think it will not be good for me to leave without making mention of this. Places like Ododudu, Techiman, places like Savlugu, Kaswa had some issues. So the Peace Council, being mindful of this, of its role, and how this can impact on subsequent elections, engage the actors. We have been to these areas on 2 occasions after the last elections to ensure that we try to iron out the differences that occasion those violence, so that in the coming elections we wouldn't find those appearing again. But we have some few things to do before the elections. I think for the sake of time, I will just... One, peace pacts have become part of our election cycle activities. And this year, Madam Chair, I want to assure you and the working population of our country that the National Peace Council, once again with our partners, we are going to organize Peace Pact for the presidential candidates. Already, we have sent the signals to them, and we have started the processes for organizing the Peace Pact. We are going to do that together with the Kofi Annan Foundation based in Geneva. They have been here on 2 occasions for us to discuss the modalities. The Peace Pact this time, we also intend to extend to hotspots, and we have identified 23 of them. So we are going to go to places like Sampa, places like Ododudu here, Ashaiman. We are going to bring the candidates together for them to commit to a peaceful election before and after. We have set up a monitoring group. Indeed, the parties voluntarily have approved a code of conduct to guide behavior ahead of the elections. When we met them, we've met the Council of Elders of the political parties of this country. We've met the communicators of the political parties in this country. We've met the women and the youth groups. What we are trying to do with these engagements is that we are setting up that committee to monitor or peer review the conduct of political actors in the country ahead of the elections. So very soon we will inaugurate a team for them to ensure. So when somebody says something, it shouldn't be the Peace Council to come out to say you are wrong or that. No. The group should be able to come out and condemn. And that group will consist of all the political parties as well. So we are doing that, Madam Chair. I'm about to finish. We are also setting up what we term the election response groups. And usually what we do is to set them, one here in Accra, what we will call the National Election Response Group, and in the regions, we call them the Regional Election Response Group. And this group is going to be composed not only of members of the National Peace Council, but also, indeed, our friends from the police, I know we are going to write to you to bring somebody at the national, at the regional levels. with the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Normally we serve on this platform. We bring civil society as well. What they are going to do is to pick early warning signals so that we can offer appropriate responses. They collect data. The data will be analyzed, and if they're worth response, the board and other key persons we are going to put together would advise what to do. So these are the things we are going to do before December 7th. But after December 7th, Madam Chair, we will do three things. One is to organize healing dialogues for constituencies where violence may occur. We can be sure. And we cannot behave as if Ghana is a heaven. We are not. So we may and we are likely to have areas where we are going to have issues. So we would engage those constituencies, and we have projected about 5 of them. We will do that. Then we would organize a national one that will also seek to address gaps that created avenues for violence or for we don't know what will come, but anything that happened that wasn't right or that affected the peace of this country, we'll try to engage and see what is it that we can do to avoid them from recurring. The last that we intend to do, in conclusion, Madam Chair, is that we want to assess the impact of peace pacts in our country. We have done it in 2012, we have done it in 2016, we've done it in 2020, but we haven't taken our time to evaluate the relevance of peace pacts in our country. We believe that God being on our side, we would once again scale over the coming elections. And Ghana, your beloved country, once again stand high among the Committee of Nations as a country that has been able to keep itself in a very volatile sub-region. Madam Chair, Excellencies, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. George Amu. As I sat down listening to our first 2 speakers, I realized that a lot goes into elections, and also a lot more goes into having peaceful elections. I know the third speaker is going to add more, and we will appreciate the peace that we are enjoying in this country. Cho boy! At this point, let me respectfully invite our third speaker in the person of the IGP, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare. Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chairperson, distinguished ladies and gentlemen at the high table and also across the auditorium. I have realized that anyone who shows up here say a particular slogan, and that slogan means different things to us. So permit me, if I'm unable to also go by that tangent. The other point is also that I've seen that everybody came around standing on the existing protocols. I've seen that now those existing protocols are so high
I can't stand on them, so I want to stand beside them. And finally, by way of introduction, would trade unionism in Ghana before independence, and if I may be right, somewhere in 1945, with the first General Secretary being Mr. Manfred Gazy, and counting to today, 79 good years. Probably the only person who is older than the institution of trade unionism is my own uncle, Uncle Alex, who will be 80 somewhere in June this year. Uncle, happy birthday in advance. And we thank God for your contribution to this country and also to the trade union fraternity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues and I are here to speak to you about arrangement for security within the context of the upcoming elections. Fortunately, two of my senior brothers have spoken, and after listening to them, I've seen that they have said all that needs to be said. And also considering the fact that you've been seated for a while, if I'm to go into my presentation in its fullness, I think I will not be able to get the full impact that is necessary. So I'll try my very best to share with you the salient points, so that at the relevant point, we can have other forums to keep engaging, because election is a process and not an event. We want to start by saying that it is being said as if our preparation towards the election, or is being seen as if our preparation toward the elections is normally in the election year. Far from that. With the past 8 elections that we've had, with the current one being the 9th, a lot of work has been done in order to make sure that we keep improving in terms of the way we provide security. Security for elections in this country has always been under the umbrella of the National Election Security Task Force, encompassing all the security agencies, with the Ghana Police Service as the lead agency. So the presentation I make is on behalf of the National Election Security Task Force. And one of the key things we learned over the years, considering the past elections, is to do with the timing of our election processes. It used to be the fact that we normally start thinking of election security in the election year. And we saw that that has become a handicap and creating problems that are avoidable. So we decided that going forward, election will be seen as a process, and the next one will start where the last one ended. And making sure that election security is mainstream into normal security operations. And this led us to the establishment of Police Election Security Directorate. With it in existence for the past 3 years, almost 3 years, the directorate has become like a police station, which is open 24 hours. So you can have election security police station for purposes of dealing with all election-related matters on 24-hour basis. And that's how far we have brought security when it comes to elections. So if you have realized, with that, we have also expanded the whole process of before elections, during elections, and after elections, which processes used to be in months, when it is during the election, in days, after the election, in a week or two. Now, before the election, which we call it technically the pre-election period, runs into years. So, for instance, if the election for 2024 ends, the next election, which is 2028, from the security point of view, will begin immediately at the end of the 2024 elections. So that the pre-election period is kick-started. So now, I want to share with you what we have been doing during this pre-election period. Then we'll move on into the election period. Then we will come to the post-election period. And finally, we'll share some thoughts with you, and I'll sit down. In the context of the pre-election period, there are major things that we do. And the first one is to help all the political parties to undertake their internal elections. And this has been organized in such a way that all the political parties, as we stand today, with the exception of two in the MPP that are coming on at Akan region, Akan constituency, and La constituency, we've been able to work with them and across all stakeholders to ensure that all these elections have been very peaceful. Beyond working with the political parties to deal with their internal structures, in between that, there are issues of also national elections. We have had district assembly elections. We have had two major by-elections, with a third one happening next week, Tuesday, at Ejiso. In all of them, in terms of security, we have demonstrated that planning pays. And when you put the right interventions, you get the right results and continue to keep the country at peace with itself. And we are hopeful, because of the arrangements we put in place, that the one that is also coming off at Ejiso will be probably more peaceful than Kumau and Aseno. Beyond this, we look at all the activities of the Electoral Commission every step of the way and provide security for them. And here, let me also say this. I'm being careful in terms of how much detail I give, because we are talking about security. So forgive me if I become snappy on some of the issues without going into details. But the point is that we are involved with the EC, a lot of engagement to help them move their electoral logistics across the country, keep these electoral logistics under lock and key, provide sufficient security, and make sure that nothing untoward happens. And where something untoward happens to, we act and we make sure that we get a corporate and deal with them in accordance with law. Beyond that, we are also working with them as we speak towards finalizing the arrangement and then also perfecting ours, which is already in place, for purposes of the voter registration exercise that will start on the 7th of May and end on the 27th of May across the country. So that one, we want to assure the good people of Ghana that for security and all the arrangement, you can go to sleep. Just show up and play your part and just go to sleep and leave the rest for us. As we work with them along those lines, we are also working with them when it comes to voter transfers and the exhibition of the register themselves, and the documentation, the printing of the ballots, and all the notice of poll, and everything thereof, including also making sure that these logistics are distributed across the country in a secure manner, kept under lock and key, and made available when it matters, and make sure that they are sent to base also safely when all is said and done. So that one too, we want to assure you, rest assured, it is done, and it will be done peacefully. Beyond that, we are also building our own capacity. We are not perfect, and nobody as a human being can claim perfection, but we will keep improving if we want to keep learning. So with this basis, across the security agencies, we're also improving our capacity, learning the relevant lessons based on our debriefing, and keep becoming better so that we can serve you better. Aside that, the engagement across the agencies, across the stakeholders, including the political parties, and of course organized labor as we are doing today, is also ongoing. For us all to be on the same page, and for all of us to get assurances that all is well, and truly all is well, because we stop at nothing to ensure that Ghana continue to be at peace with itself. Beyond this, during the same pre-election period, we are also working to ensure that the traditional security responsibilities that we have of ensuring that armed robbers are perpetually in coma, of ensuring that there is security on our roads, of ensuring that there is safety in our communities, and also making sure that the police continue to improve with their friendship with the public is not left aside or is not put aside because of elections. In effect, our eyes in those areas are wide open as they are wide open in connection with the elections. So if any bad guy is out there, you should rest assured, we aren't going anywhere. We are where we are, and when you show up, you will meet us, and when you meet us, you will find your level. With this pre-election period activities, the next major thing you can see from that is the campaigning period, where the political parties will show up all the places and decide to sell their message to the electorate and for it to be bought in, and for them to make a decision whom to vote for. It is a major activity. At times you have instances, you show up at one location, you have the same, multiple political party wanting to do event on the same day at the same location. We do a lot of engagement and get everybody on board and make sure that at least there is an understanding in a manner that is a win-win situation for everybody involved. And that aspect, we are also working on it. We'll keep engaging them, and as soon as their campaigns are in full gear, you will see the support and the type of security we'll be providing for anybody who show up in any such of the activities that they will conducting, and they will see truly the black man is indeed capable of managing his own affairs. Aside this, with all their campaigning and all the work that we do with the EC and all the other stakeholders, then you see ourselves moving into the election period. And the election period for us starts with the printing of the ballot, the distribution of the electoral logistics across the country, the keeping of such logistics at secure armories across the police stations, across the police regions, across the police districts, across the police divisions, across the country, and making sure that on the D-Day, putting them out there where they belong to allow the electorate to show up to cast their vote. That arrangement, we started planning since last year. We keep perfecting it, and it will be better than all the previous elections. After that, on the election day, the next thing of concern to us is to make sure that every voting center, because now ECs have made us to understand that there are polling stations and there are voting centers. So every voting center In effect, wherever there will be an election activity, you will see security to the level that will bring comfort and hope to the electorate to cast their vote in a manner that is dignified. So that we also want to assure you. Aside this, and that plan is also being perfected with people who are going where, with their names, with their contact numbers, in a manner that at the end of the day, we will not wait 2 months down the line and then we'll be struggling as to how to document that. No. We can't do that because we can always do better if we want to keep learning. With that, we also believe that when the other major security thing that happens is when the votes are being counted and when they are being collated, especially at the polling station or the voting centers and at the collation centers. Those areas too, we have the plan. The plans are good and we'll keep perfecting it until the last day and we'll put it in place and the results will be good. Be assured. After that, then the next thing, which is the last stage of the election period, is the announcement of who won and who lost. And that will bring to the end where people will be jubilating, others too will be managing their losses in a manner and waiting for the next opportunity. In effect, in elections, what I know is that when you lose, it means that God is saying that not this time, but next time. So there is no cause for alarm. So with that, we also want to assure you, arrangements are in place to deal with that situation, to make everybody comfortable, and we will continue to engage and we will continue to have de-escalation mindset because humanity is all what we have, and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that we are measured in our involvement in the type of security we provide in such a way that we don't go overboard, but we also will stop at nothing to ensure that the laws of the country works, and it work to the advantage and to the pleasure of all law-abiding citizens. Then after that, we will enter into the post-election period. And the post-election period, that is where if we are not lucky, we'll have another election. So we start a whole election cycle within another or a major election cycle, where there is a runoff. Every process starts again. There will be campaigning, there will be ballot printing, there will be shuffling of logistics across the country, there will be security at all the polling centers. All this starts again. But if it goes that way, we want to assure you, we have that plan already in the major plan. So we have planned for everything, and we are ready for everything to ensure that our country continues to be at peace with itself, with or without elections. Then finally, on that score, 2 more things about the post-election period. That is the inauguration, or what you call the swearing in of the next government. And that, you know, the fanfare that it comes on is a national affairs with regional activities and a whole lot of security arrangement. And that one too, the blueprint is ready because we keep revising and making it better. So rest assured, there's no cause for alarm. Then finally, we will then move on to our own stage, which is outside the public domain. And that is what we call the debriefing period and the kicking in of the next pre-election period, which will give us the opportunity to look back and see what happened in 2024 and what else we can learn going forward in terms of the pre-election period, the election period, and the post-election period for 2028. So that at the end of the day, there is some sort of continuity and there is sort of institutionalization of the whole idea of policing election in a manner that everybody, even if we, the crop of leadership today, are not there, anybody who comes will have a reference point to move on from there. Because we are here to work for a while and the institutions will continue to endure. So we leave it a better place than we came to find it for those who came after us. In conclusion, we've been able to indicate to you that we are ready. ready to keep the peace, ready to secure the country, ready to ensure law and order. So all what we have to do as citizens is also play our part. And all what other stakeholders have to do as major stakeholders is also play their part. And if we are to do three things right, you will see that playing our part is the easiest thing that we can do for our beloved country. And the three things that will let it become very easy to me and to my colleagues is stem from being mature. We need maturity. Maturity across all ages is very necessary. We need patriotism. Patriotism at the national level, such that you put Ghana first and all other things secondary. And thirdly, we need love for humanity. If you are able to operate on these three principles, you will see that our duty in being part of the whole election process is a very simple, civic, and enjoyable responsibility, which, of course, work towards the development of our country. And how are we going to feel that truly we are living up to these three very fundamental principles of maturity, patriotism, and love for humanity? First, and it goes to all of us, which is a piece of advice, we have to be very measured in our expectations. Measures in our expectations in the sense that don't think that at all costs the person you believe is going to win and therefore you are taking an entrenched position. If that happens and the person loses, you will have a headache that can affect your own way of thinking and affect the security. Second, we have to be very measured in our actions and inactions, particularly our utterances and interactions in terms of our reaction to other utterances. When that happens and we are measured in that way, we will just have to use a word to stop a chaotic situation. Because there will be fire, there will be petrol, but there will be no corresponding fire to spark it. Because we've been mature, we've demonstrated patriotism, and we have also demonstrated love for humanity. The third thing is also being very measured in allowing ourselves to be used by anybody for that person's selfish interest. Ghana first. And anything outside making Ghana first is somebody's personal interest. That need not to be allowed. And for that matter, we need not to also support that. And when we are measures in that, it will help us. Also, when we demonstrate that sense of maturity, patriotism, and love for humanity, you will see that we'll be very measured and also constructive in criticism of others, of course, including the police. We want you to criticize. We want you to criticize us, because out of the criticism, we have come to have a sense of guilt and shame, such that it is take only that for us to realize our mistakes and then learn from them. But please be measured in the criticisms and let them also be constructive. And finally, showing maturity, patriotism, and love for humanity is allowing the rule of law to operate to its fullest. We shouldn't take the law into our own hands. There are structures and systems to handle that. It takes time, but we will get there. So the assurance is that today, Ghana is at peace with itself. Tomorrow, Ghana will be at peace with itself. During the rest of the election period, that peace will be deepened, because we, the security agencies, will continue to put our lives on the line to ensure that we achieve that. And we invite all Ghanaians to join us on this journey of making Ghana a beacon of hope for Africa and inspiration for the rest of the world. I thank you very much.
Thank you, IGP. Please, let's give it to him. Very beautiful one. Thank you very much. Please, let's have our seats. The police is ready. I was just looking at his smiling face, how calm he was, and I was asking myself, if you do something on the election day, if this man will speak so calmly to you, I doubt. And then I was observing some of the ladies smiling with admiration, and I was interpreting what the smiles. But Madam Chair, I think, when there is the stability, it's the women who suffer. So they are happy that the IGP is assuring us. All other interpretations, keep it to yourself. Comrades, we are going to have question time, but we want to use about just 10 minutes. Nobody is getting up. Our snacks will come in, and then as the snacks are done, we will then start with the questioning. So please, are you ready? Please just bring them in. Bring them in. Yes, it's a health break too. Yes, just give us a spot of music whilst the snacks come. Okay. Yes, so if you want to go to the washroom, quickly, you come back. Washroom, 2 minutes. Washroom, just 2 minutes. And then you come back for your snack so that we can do the question time. Music, please.
Good day, everyone.
Good day!
Okay, so how many of us turned 18 between 2023 and this year?
Me!
Okay, how many more? Okay, well, I am asking because the Electoral Commission will soon be opening the voters register to register those who had not turned 18. As at the last time the registration exercise was done in the year 2023.
Me too, boss. Good one. But is it going to be for only those who attained the age of 18 since 2023?
That's a very good question. With that, let me hand you over to the Electoral Commission officers to give you all the necessary information.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you very much. Good day, my dear people. Good day. Well, as we are all aware, come December 7, 2024, we shall be casting our votes to elect our presidential and parliamentary candidates. Yeah. To be able to vote, you need to be 18 years and above and of sound mind. So those of us who turned 18 between 2023 and 2024, we shall be given the opportunity to register.
Yes, and the Commission is also starting a limited voters registration exercise that is starting from Tuesday, 7th May to 27th May 2024.
So you people, why? Every year you won't make me register. Why?
Day in, day out, we are giving birth to children who are turning 18 years and more. And it is the duty of the Electoral Commission by law to collate, that is, collect all of these information on all these people, put them in one record that is against the old one, thereby revising the register.
Yes, and the Commission is also expected to enlarge the system to accommodate new adults and those adults who were not able to register during the 2020 and 2023 registration exercise.
All you need to do is to get your national identification card or your passport. In addition to the passport, get your residential digital address and then dash straight to the nearest district office. Yeah. And another important thing to note is this year's voters registration exercise will also take place in selected electoral areas and public universities across the country.
There and then, your particulars are going to be collected and then put into the system. That's all. Simple.
Madam, me, I not get any card or passport. It be now at the booth for my father in Lanto. That one I not finish. So I not get that dress. What I would do?
It is not a problem.
At all?
When you are going to the district office, just go with 2 people who are registered voters to be your guarantors. That is all.
Okay, my son.
Oh, Grandma.
I can't find my card. I have looked everywhere, but I can't find it. So what do I do?
Grandma, don't worry at all. And to all of us who have lost our voters' ID card, take note. You don't have to register again. Because from Thursday, 30th May 2024, the Electoral Commission will start replacing all lost cards which have been reported.
Officers, I am a teacher and I'm new here on transfer. I should be settled in by the end of the month. What do I do during voting? Do I have to go back?
No, you don't have to go back. Transfer of votes and application for proxy voting will start from 30th May to 14th June 2024. But note that it's a criminal offense for a guarantor to guarantee for more than 10 people during the registration process. Yes, if you're caught, you'll be prosecuted.
In that case, I've got something written down. Guys, it goes like this. Register to vote, then you respond. Your vote is your future. Can we go? Register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Say, register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
See, register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Listen, ensure free, fair, credible, transparent, peaceful election in Ghana. Free, fair, credible, transparent, peaceful election in Ghana. 1, 2, 3. So register your vote.
Your vote is your future.
So register your vote.
Your vote is your future.
Register your vote.
Your vote is your future.
Listen, drop your gun. Drop your guts. Let's party. Dance as on to make merry. No more violence. No more war. We want peace. We want peace. We want peace. So register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
So register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
So register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Mechamo. Yemu dudu say na di enfie du wotwe wo afi 2023 ene afimu. Yo, nienti ami bisa kra ne se enche kra no na Electoral Commission fo no ebue abato adi nkyerɛkyerɛ nkrata animu na wa kyerɛkyerɛ omu ana endi enfie du wotwe ne din wo bra etwato a omu ye edi nkyerɛkyerɛ edwumadie no wo afi 2023 nimu no.
Meso sa
Papa no. Nanso ekomo mo edi enfie du wotwe ewo afi 2023 nko ana.
Bida wase wo wasem bisa ne ho. Mama mfansha isi mpanyimfo ne nsa. No mo mfa nsema ehuhia ne nyina mamo.
Mechiamo madofo. Sene ye nyina yenim no. December 7, 2024 ebe. Yebeto abade yi ye mra hye bedwafo ne omampanyin. Na se wobeto aba a esese wudi mfie du otwe ne echi. Na waadwene mu nso nda ho. Eno nti ya ye di mfie du otwe wo afi 2023 ne 2024 ntem no. Yebema ye ho kwan se ye ntwe edi.
Enti no, Electoral Commission for no ye ahosiesie ama abato edi ntwe adwumadie no. Every Benada 7th May 2024 go to 27th May 2024.
Enti mokra ye di asem. Afi bia mo pese ye tro ye din. Aden.
Ane, abre biara no, ye wo mmofra omonyi abedru mfie du otwe ne echi. Enu nti Electoral Commission for asede wo mmramu se omobeboaboa sa nipa nyina ho nsema no na omode aka dada no ho.
Esese commission for no nso ye nhyehyɛ ahoho a ebema na trade ntwe no mu na atumi agye mpenimfo foforo a omo nhyehyɛ no so ne saa mpenimfo na omo ntumi antrɛ omudin se abatofo bra afi 2020 ni 2023 abato adwumadie no course no.
Ne esese a we ya ne se Ghana card ana wakwantu krata ni bebia wote address na fa Hongikako district office benwo adefofo a ohia se wo hye no nso ne se afi we di ntwe adwumedie no bekoso wo miamia a wapa wabato abansu kupon ahoro a ewo oman no mu nyina.
Eho no ho a omo beje won krata na omo de aka di ntwe no.
Madam, mini voters ID card any passport ibio. Afi na papa mama sase a mi si intabodan wo so. Edan kra po mi nyensin wie. Na edanya address ibi.
Ohawo ni ho. Se wo call district office na wodi nkofo mienu a omo atwe omudin dada se abatofo nko na omunya ontem ginafo
meba
openyi
mi card no mahwehwe baby ara enti meya den
openyi emane hawo omo amukada ayira nyina no hye ne nso se ensese wo twe odin biom efri se free Juada 30th May 2024. Commission for ne besha asie sika da yira nyina name.
Officers, me a teaching me ba han cheye. No crane say, busumi be kwewie no. Na me to abetna ha. Na ede na meye. Sabat one mreswa. E was me sign me chikwana.
Ni hokra. Abato a omode mane. Aye friend a transfer of votes. Any abato a obi jine mo amao. Aye friend of application for proxy. And so besha asie free. Juada 30th May 2024. Na ewie fiada 14 June 2024.
Nanso, shene nso se eye ensembonidie se intemginafo bi begine mu ama nipa bebrudu. Mra omo ye di nkyerɛ hyehyɛ no. Ani, so omo chewa, omo betwe waso.
In that case, I've got something written down. Guys, it goes like this. Register to vote, then you respond. Your vote is your future. Can we go? Register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Say, register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
See, register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Register to vote.
Your vote is your future.
Listen, ensure free, fair, credible, transparent, peaceful election in Ghana. Free, fair, credible, transparent, peaceful election in Ghana. 1, 2, 3. So register your vote.
Your vote is your future.